Hey Aries, this is Michael with your reading for January 2022. Hello and welcome. Happy New Year. I actually am posting these a little bit late because I already published all of my horoscopes for 2022. It took a little more time than I thought it would, plus all the holiday chaos and all the wonderful new clients I had. I actually am running a sale right now as well. Everything is 15% off on my website until the 8th. So if you missed out on the holiday sale, you can still get a reading or Reiki session with me. I think it's a really great time to do that just at the start of the year. New cycles, new beginnings, really figure out what's in store for you and kind of attune to that. So all of my links are down below. I am really, really curious to see what we have for you, Aries. I actually have all of my cards on the table. And the reason this is like kind of weird to me, I'm just going to be straight up with you. The cards are telling like a very specific story that isn't necessarily even tied to the astrology right now. So that's pretty interesting to me. I feel like there's a lot about love and relationships and meeting your soulmate or coming together with your soulmate. I get like soulmate twin flame vibes. I don't necessarily love that. To be honest, I hate those sorts of readings. I know they draw on a lot of people. I kind of think it's toxic and predatory myself, but I acknowledge that relationships are a very important part of our lives. And so I kind of take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. There's honestly a lot here that's also about you stepping into your own power with this new moon in Capricorn that we have on the 10th. That's really about committing to long term success and your long term goals. That could be a beginning of a new career. We also have the full moon in Cancer, and that is going to be occurring in your fourth house, your house of home and family. There could be changes there. You might be moving. There could be endings. Things are coming into culmination in those two areas of your life, family and home, and career and purpose. Those are really, really important things to pay attention to. Mars is also in Sagittarius, that is your ruling planet, and it will be entering into Capricorn on the 24th, and that's going to be a really significant time, kind of focusing again on career. Like there is this focus, and as I'm talking about this relationship, this could also be talking about something that you love, a career that you love. This doesn't have to necessarily be romance either. It's just kind of tedious to clarify that every time I talk about these messages or energies. So just keep that in mind. Whatever it is that you love, there is something very beautiful happening this month. And I say that because the first card that came out for you is the Empress card. And this is Taurus energy, it is Venus energy. We do have Venus retrograde at the beginning of this month, and Venus will be retrograde all the way until January 29th. And this is really reviewing our sense of stability, our attachments. Venus is really about comfort and pleasure and relationships. I actually just think of her as the planet of attachments, the things we are attached to. And with the Empress energy, there really is this kind of strong, powerful, divine feminine sort of thing. It's really the best way I could think to describe that. Because between the Empress and actually the Emperor that we have in the present, your card, we do have the Ten of Cups and Temperance. And both of these cards are pretty significant to me in terms of a relationship or long-term happiness. And I'm seeing that between a pair here, the Empress and the Emperor, regardless of who you identify more as, whether you are masculine or feminine or even non-binary, it doesn't really matter. And frankly, I don't like to focus on these terms too much because I don't like to enforce a gender binary. We all have these masculine and feminine qualities within us. It's almost like you're meeting like this kind of counterpart, or there is this thing connecting to this counterpart. And what you've been learning about, you've been healing a lot of expectations and things regarding home and family and relationships. And I think that is very significant when we are talking about the full moon in Cancer on the 17th. There really is this focus on what are the beliefs and expectations I grew up with, and does that work for me now? And I think that could be coming up in relationships for you. It's also coming up in career as well. The Emperor is also you, I think, in many ways, stepping into a lot of power. You are coming into yourself. You're coming into a lot of stability. You've been nurturing or needing to nurture yourself, needing to heal yourself. I will say the challenge is the Knight of Wands. That tells me there might be trying to rush into things too quickly. And if you are connecting with someone, it's like being really passionate with someone and that kind of clouding your judgment. Um, but there's a lot of passion here with the Emperor and the Knight of Wands. And then in the future we have the Lovers and the Six of Wands. And I mean, it really is just like, it's all over this reading. I would love to tell you, like, this isn't a love reading, but it absolutely is, for most of you. Again, maybe this is something that you love that isn't a relationship or a person, and there's just something that's coming back. And it really is figuring out, like, your own long-term happiness as well. And I could potentially see something coming back from the past. I know, super, super cliche, right? But it is like we have Mercury retrograde, we have Venus retrograde, and that does bring back people from the past. Sometimes it does bring about reconciliation. Very often, I think that when we're talking about these retrogrades, it's about putting an end to something, however. And I do want to acknowledge at the bottom of the deck there is a death card. And it's like, regardless of what new relationships or what renewed relationships come out of this month, something needs to be put to an end. And it's almost like there needs to be this balance. What am I beginning and what am I ending? What am I allowing to grow and what am I putting away? And there really has to be like that kind of exchange. I'm seeing that in some way. There needs to be some sort of compromise, I think. And maybe this is just referring to a Scorpio energy, scorpionic energy. We actually have quite a few different energies. We have Gemini, Taurus, Virgo, or not Virgo, but I'm going to keep it. Why not? We have Gemini, Taurus, Libra. We also have Sagittarius. We have your energy. And that's really, really significant to me. There's actually quite a bit of Sag energy here with the Knight of Wands as well. And even the Six of Wands kind of feels reminiscent of this Knight of Wands. And these could be talking about time periods if they're not talking about astrological placements. It really does, I really do get the sense that with this death card, this very well could be talking about a relationship that was over or went through very hard periods. Something needs to come together. And maybe this ultimately won't be a relationship that is like you're happily ever after, right? Let's be realistic here. Let me be a Virgo for like a minute in this reading. Maybe you are coming together just to review things and really figure out what did and didn't work. And even looking at your animal cards that I pulled for you, had the vulture and the owl. So there is kind of this like shadow energy, looking at things that aren't necessarily comfortable or easy to see, and finding new life from endings, creating new life from that. Vulture is all about seeing something that is dead or seeing something that is discarded and creating a new life from that. And Owl even kind of speaks of finding abundance in that way as well, because Owl has these very highly evolved senses that allow it to see things that other animals can't, and see things from a very high perspective. You have two birds here, and so there is this gaining of a different perspective, looking at things from a different perspective. And maybe that's why there's someone coming back from the past where you are kind of revisiting things or looking at things from a different light or a different perspective. And I think there needed to be a lot of time between you and this other person, or between you and this thing that you care about, where you healed yourself first. And as you're coming into this relationship, it's not about you being compromising with this Emperor card. You know what you want. You know what's going to make you happy. And maybe in the past with this Empress energy, you were someone who tried to compromise on certain things and it just didn't work. And if this isn't even a relationship that's been struggling, there could just be a harmonious relationship that is becoming something more. I potentially could see marriage proposals or deepening of commitment, strengthening of bonds in some way. And I think with this Venus retrograde, while it is often an energy that can break relationships, that kind of puts enough pressure on things that have kind of been lingering for too long and it finalizes things, it does also give us time to review things. It's like tying up loose ends. And I think that's actually a great way to think of retrogrades in general. I know people are very often afraid to move or change jobs or start relationships during the retrogrades, but you need to look at this from kind of a higher perspective here. Is this something that's been working or something you've been working on or building in the background for some time? Then it might be time to complete something that is unfinished. And especially with like Mercury retrograde, like if something breaks during Mercury retrograde and you need to replace it, it's almost like that's something that needed to be replaced for a while. And now it's like you need to get something new to replace that thing. And maybe that applies to relationships in this case too. If there's something that's just not been working or something that's been unsaid, it's time to really address that. This is a really, really honestly very clear message to me. It feels very much about relationships. I do want to just clarify things a little more here. What else do we have for Aries? Is there anything else we should be aware of for the month of January? I have a few things. Okay. Okay, so we have the, wow, Three of Swords and the Queen of Cups coming out together. I do feel like there's healing from heartache. And like being emotionally mature enough to handle the pain and to sit with that pain and to allow that pain to be there so it can be healed and not closing your heart to that. And also the Knight of Cups, which again is kind of this romantic and dreamy and healer sort of energy as well. There could be a water sign, especially Pisces or Cancer with these two. Could be Scorpio. We did have that death card. Needing to heal. And if nothing else, I will say, like, even if there is something about a relationship that's ended and it doesn't end up working out, it feels like there's new love coming in. It feels like there is love that is going to be entering into your life with the Six of Wands and the Lover's card. And it really quite literally feels like someone coming in on a white horse sort of energy. Like, almost feels a little too good to be true, if I'm being honest. And maybe that's something you're a little suspicious of as well. Maybe you are guarding your own heart. Really be open to your feelings this month. I think that's going to help you and your relationships of all sorts. And those are all the messages I have for you this month, Aries. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if this resonated for you, how this resonates for you, what this relationship is about. Would be curious to hear. I do have all of my links in the description box down below. And for those of you who do feel called to make a donation, for this month, I'm actually encouraging everyone to contribute to my friend's crowdfunding page. She is working on an Enneagram wisdom deck or an oracle deck, which is focused on the Enneagram, which is a system of self-growth, self-development, and kind of figuring out what it is that really inspires you, what your motivations are, and ways you might even sabotage yourself. And I know a lot of my followers are super interested in self-growth, so it's a really great system. Check out this oracle deck. I'll have that linked down below as well. I'm sure my friend Angela would really, really appreciate it. I actually used to be really into Enneagram myself, so I'm super excited to see her putting this out into the world. And I'm sure she would appreciate your support as well. And I am running that sale again until January 8th. And I have all of these year ahead horoscopes already written on my website, and they will be coming out as shorts or reels in the next couple of weeks, so keep your eyes open for those. Now, I wish you a very happy January, and I will see you in the next video.